Hello and welcome to Raider Reach. This is the podcast where we reach out to our school community and beyond to share the inspiring story of our Raiders. From the classrooms to the extracurriculars, we'll explore the people, events, and moments that make our district unique. Thank you for joining us. Let's dive on in and tell our Raider story. So today, I am so excited because I have 4 phenomenal educators that I'm excited to introduce you to, and you get to hear about what they do daily, which is still in my mind a newish program, even though it's been around for quite some time. And I think a large portion of our audience would agree this was not around when we were in school, and it's such a phenomenal support, and it's our MTSS program, which we'll talk about what that is later. But before we get started there, thank you for joining us today. My name's Meagan Hogg, and I'm the District Director of Communication, and it's my pleasure to be able to moderate this podcast and learn with you. And really that is what happens every single time I do a podcast. I get to learn so much more just taking a peek in at what people are doing in our district to help our students succeed. So today is definitely down that same line, and I'm excited to introduce you to them. So let's get started. First off, we have Janice Pullen. Janice, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing great. So tell us a little bit about your educational journey. I love your story, by the way.
Okay.
And kind of tell us about how you ended up where you are now.
Okay, so I am a Lumberton graduate. I went to school here from kinder all the way through 12th grade. I graduated in 2000. It was the millennial group.
Yep.
When the world was going to, come apart.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
and
right.
it didn't.
That's right.
And then I went to Lamar and graduated in 2004 with my bachelor's in marketing.
Awesome.
I started teaching in 2013. I was a student teacher with Kayla Barlow, Anderson, now, and I student taught when my son was in first grade and my middle son was in kindergarten.
Oh, wow.
And fell in love with kindergarten, knew that it was my jam, and so the following year I got hired on. I've been teaching for 12 years. I went back to school and got my master's degree in educational leadership in 2021 from Lamar, and I just completed my PASL.
Yay! Such a hassle, right?
It is a big hassle.
Oh man, it's a lot of
I just submitted that on Monday. So
Yay!
we're in the process of waiting for that. So
Yeah.
and I did spend a year doing the communications in central office. Absolutely loved it. That was the year of COVID when we reopened schools, so learned a ton, but realized that my home life and my kinders were calling my name still, and I wasn't quite ready to leave the classroom. So I came back to kindergarten and started in RTI the following year in 2023. So.
Okay, awesome. Well, and I think your journey is so cool because, as you kind of played different roles in our district, and you are still a mom of 3 boys and very active boys with lots of different activities. And so, that kind of lets our listeners know we're also educators. We're moms at school to these lovely children, but we also have lots of things going on outside, and we want to make sure we're doing what's best in both areas. So I love that part. So Courtney Yust. Courtney, tell us a little bit about your journey.
Okay. I'm a graduate from Lumberton, 1999. I went to Lamar right after high school, and I graduated in 2003.
Okay.
And then immediately got a job here in Lumberton teaching first grade. I taught for a few years, and then I had my daughter Charlie, and I decided to stay home. And I stayed home for about 8 years.
I didn't realize that. I didn't know you were at home for that long.
Long time. And then I decided to come back. I got a job in Silsbee. I was teaching pre-K. And then I came back to Lumberton in 2nd grade, so I taught pre-K first and second.
Okay.
And this is my first year here in MTSS.
Okay.
This is my 16th year to
teaching.
teach.
Yeah. And you did a lot of those years in 2nd grade.
Yes.
As did you, Tanya. So
about 9 years I think it was. In
okay.
second.
Yeah. You have a good little team over there still.
Yes.
So I love it. All right. Well, next we have Tanya Michalk. Tanya, what about you? What's your journey look like?
Hello. I'm also a Lumberton graduate. I graduated in '94. Then I went straight on to Lamar University, graduated with interdisciplinary studies with a specialization in reading.
Okay.
And my first job was Warren Elementary in 1999.
I didn't know that.
I stayed there for 6 years. I
Okay.
taught 4th grade and 2nd grade.
Yeah.
And then came to Lumberton in 2005 when we had the big hurricane.
Oh, yeah.
And so I've been here ever since. And this is my 27th year to teach. This is my 2nd year in MTSS.
Okay. Awesome. So So you kind of, what grades have you taught?
Altogether, I've taught 4th, 2nd, and 3rd.
Okay.
I started in Lumberton in 3rd.
Okay, awesome. Love that. And then last but not least, Tammy Conger. Tammy, tell us a little bit about your journey.
I'm the odd man out, or odd woman out here. I graduated from Beaumont.
Okay.
And
Which
then
high school did you go to?
Central High School.
Okay, so
And
you're a Jaguar.
French.
Oh, nice. So you ended up being a Jaguar?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, yes.
awesome. Love
And
that.
then I went to Lamar, graduated with a criminal justice degree and a
Oh.
counseling degree, so I have both of those.
Wow.
Went to work for Catholic Charities, worked there
Uh-huh.
for 10 years as a client intake worker and then a quality assurance coordinator, and then the last 3 years I was program director.
Okay.
And then when my kids started school, and they both graduated from Lumberton, then
Yeah.
I decided to go back to become a teacher and
Wow.
found out that's where I needed to be.
Yeah. I love that, man. And you have some really great experience before you went back to you went to the classroom that I'm sure you still draw from, today, just dealing with people
yes.
and helping people. So I love that. I didn't know that about you, and that's awesome. Okay, so let's start telling our listeners what is MTSS. In education, we have lots of acronyms that we like to throw around, and it's very confusing. I have literally started a list, and it's online under our transparency tab, of these acronyms and terms that you might hear in education. I'm not sure if MTSS is on there, but I need to add it if not. So tell us a little bit about what MTSS is and how that program helps support students at the primary school and the early childhood school.
Okay, so MTSS stands for Multi-Tiered Systems of Support.
Okay.
It's a whole child approach that supports students academically, behaviorally, and socially. We use data to guide instruction and decisions so that we can meet the students where they are and fill in the gaps that are missing.
Okay, awesome. And we were kind of talking about before we started here that it's really a program that helps to make sure students aren't falling through the cracks.
Mm-hmm.
And putting another safety net in place. So I love that. There's different tiers of support in MTSS, three tiers, right?
Yes.
Okay. So what are those different tiers, and how do you determine where students fall on those tiers?
Okay, so it's very similar on our campus at the EC as well as primary school. We're
Okay.
all very closely aligned and actually do some of our end of the year meetings together.
Okay.
So that they can hear the kids coming to them.
Yeah.
So what happens is there's a tier 1, and that is the general education core instruction. That's
So
provided
every
by the
student is
classroom
tier
teacher.
1. Yep.
Yes,
Okay.
that's where your classroom teacher is pulling you up in small group, kind of trying to catch you up if if a student missed a skill,
Mhm.
and they get the information from their assessments, from teacher observations, classroom participation, that sort of thing. In those small groups, when the teacher starts seeing that there is a learning gap, that
Mhm.
they're not meeting the criteria to master that skill, that's whenever they bring in the MTSS committee.
Okay.
So then we come in and we have a meeting, we present all the data, that could be their benchmarks, universal screeners, that could be their report cards, progress report, attendance, they bring work samples, and we just talk about the whole profile of the student with a committee. And that committee, it kind of varies from campus to campus, but for the early childhood, it is the principal, myself, the classroom teacher, our counselor, and at times we can call in our diagnostician
Okay.
if necessary.
Right.
So we all kind of hear all of the information, everybody talks, and then we determine, based on the criteria, where does that child fall? What level of support do they need? So after the tier 1, which is the classroom support, there's a tier 2. That's more of a targeted intervention. That's where a student could qualify, they would get pulled out of the classroom for 60 minutes that week.
Mhm.
And for intervention sessions, you can get it for reading or math or both.
Okay.
And so that's more of a specific skill that I would work with that student, whether it's letters and sounds, sight word reading, addition, subtraction, whatever the skill they're falling behind in class.
Uh-huh.
And then we meet again on that student. We meet 3 times a year, beginning, middle, and end, or if needed, if we have a reason, to determine, do they need more? Are they still falling behind, even with that targeted instruction? If the answer is yes, based on all of the data and the criteria, and the committee agrees, we will bump that student to what we call a tier 3 level intervention. And that's more intensive instruction. That is where the student is pulled for 90 minutes a week, and
Okay.
it could be in both subjects or just one. And that's more where we, create the goals and the plans for the student. It's very individualized. So, I know exactly what that student needs based on all the data that we've reviewed. Is it letters and sounds fluency? At this point in the year, we're wanting our kindergartners to start reading simple sentences, reading basic CVC words. So when we have a kid that knows all their letters and sounds but can't put that together, they're in my classroom. Because we're going to work constantly on the blending and, putting the phonemes together, doing the blends, beginning and the end of the word. Just to try to close those gaps so they are a very confident first grader.
Yeah.
I think that is the biggest takeaway I can give from the early childhood perspective, and that kindergarten RTI is vital to building confidence in our kids, because the pace of instruction now goes so fast at times that sometimes they're developmentally not ready. So the gift of time is what I think that RTI provides for our students. So the goal of our tier system is to address the significant learning needs and collect the data to determine and record our student progress. And then we close the learning gaps and strengthen their foundational skills before we send them on to first grade.
Okay, that's awesome. And there's a couple things that you mentioned there that I think are really key here. One was that instruction moves so fast, and when we say that, we're measuring it, comparing it to what maybe we experienced when we were in school.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't know, and maybe they do, and you see parents who are asking questions on how do you do this math problem on, and it's because all of we call them TEKS, but they're the standards that students are supposed to have mastered at a certain grade level in certain subjects. So let's take math, for instance. What we used to learn in 5th grade math, students are learning in 3rd grade math now, and they're required to know. And so it is moving a lot faster than it used to, because what the goal, I think, from the state of Texas is we're pushing down those TEKS to get them mastered earlier, so when they're older we can build more on advanced skills to get them ready for other programs outside of school. But that's made it a challenge for some students who are, especially our younger students, I feel, in their confidence levels, because once they feel behind anytime, and it could be just they were sick for a long time, or other things that were out of their control were happening. Their eyesight was bad, they couldn't see, their hearing was bad. Then they start to get, it affects their confidence, and then that can really bring them down. So I like when you talked about confidence, it really is that. So you talked about that's kind of what the process is at early childhood. Does it mirror that pretty well at primary school?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. All right, so teachers and staff, like you told us, they really play a vital part in that collaborative process with the committee and giving input, because I think that's important, because the teacher is the person that knows the student best other than the parent, right? But at school, in the academic setting, the teacher is the one that sees them and understands how they're responding to different things. So the teachers have a large input there. How do you guys go about creating those plans for students? You talked about being individualized.
Yeah. So we meet with teachers and the staff to go over the data from the benchmark testing.
Okay.
And we also go over their grades and how they look in the classroom. So the teacher will bring that input and talk to us about that.
Okay.
We participate in PLCs each week, and the teachers are invited to come.
Which are professional learning communities, and they're grade level or content based, different campuses do it differently.
Yes. Yes,
So.
we hold those every single week. We do at least one, sometimes we have them twice. So teachers can sign up and they can come and we can meet and discuss on a student with them. And at that time we can implement and monitor interventions if we need to. We do meet 3 times of the year that Janice mentioned as well, but we have these weekly, so if there's any student they're concerned about, they can come and speak to us about that. We also do meet with teachers on how they can help in the classroom. So every student is on a tier 1 that is in the classroom, and so they do that intervention in the classroom. And so we will meet with them and we can help them, put them in groups. We can help them with activities and lessons if they need that.
Okay.
So we can meet with them anytime.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think it's a very fluid process.
Yeah.
You're getting feedback all the time, not just with the screeners that are happening 3 times a year or whatever, but frequent feedback. And I think that just goes right along into the role that parents and families play. They're giving feedback as well.
Right.
Yes.
And they're able to kind of give you their side of what's happening based on how the student is feeling what they're seeing at home. Is that true?
Yes, so before the teachers come to the meetings, they have already reached out and had a conference with the parents.
Okay.
That is also part of the criteria to qualify, so that there's a parents are looped in prior to us just qualifying them for RTI.
Okay.
So, and usually, the parents are either seeking out
Yeah.
already, like we need help, or they're not alarmed because our communication with our parents is
It's great. Yeah.
really good.
Teachers already been talking to them.
They've already been talking. They've already been sending things home.
Mhm.
There's already been some interventions put in place at the tier 1 level
Right.
before they come to tier 2.
Okay.
But we do ask for the parent input, especially if anything has changed in their
Yeah.
lives or
Okay.
medical status or any of that.
Okay. And that's important. And before we move on, I just want to clarify here, because some people may be thinking how this might sound similar to other programs that we have for support, like 504 programs and special education programs. And this is all under the special programs umbrella, right?
Right.
But it's a different program. So, and there's different qualifications for each of those 3 different programs and different levels of intervention and accommodations that you can provide. And I think for you guys, at primary school and middle and early childhood school, you guys don't have state testing, but y'all do still do testing.
Yeah.
The kids take tests, and
Yeah.
so some of your students may get some of those accommodations to help them, where you can put those in place to help them be successful. Just like our older students who are doing state testing and use accommodations on the test and other assignments can do as well. And we'll talk about what those interventions and maybe some of those accommodations look like a little later. But we'll take a little break. You guys ready? We're gonna do our Fab 5 questions. These are our quick fire questions that kind of help us to get a little peek into your personality. This is about y'all. But the first one is my favorite, and this is one I ask everybody. It kind of lets us know a little bit about you, and sometimes it explains a little bit about your why and why you do what you do in education. But what's one random object in your office or your classroom that has a story behind it, that when you see it, it brings back that story and maybe a why of why you're doing what you do? Who wants to go first?
You want me to go? So I have, and y'all might have seen them because I've seen them randomly, but it's a little Jesus. It almost looks like a little eraser.
Yes.
Okay, so a student this year brought it to me and left it on my desk. I went to bring it back because I thought they just left it. No, I mean, he left it for me. And so when I went to bring it back to him, he said, "That's for you. You need Jesus, just like I do." And I said, "Yes, I do." And so now it is on my desk, and every day that he comes in, he says, "Do you get your Jesus?" And I'm like, "I got it." So it's a staple on my desk from now on.
Sweet baby.
And then I found one in my cart too at HEB. So
Oh,
that's it.
I have a whole bag of them. I can
They're floating around.
And then Travis has some too, people giving him, and they're like, "It's just a little Jesus. Everybody needs
Everybody
a
needs
little
a
Jesus."
little Jesus.
Yes,
I
that's
appreciate
right.
it, but he checks.
Reminder.
If
That's
that
right.
thing ever gets stolen, I will be digging into your spot because he checks when he
He will
comes
not
in.
be happy about it. That's awesome. All right. What about you, Courtney?
Okay, so I have a shelf in my room that has collectibles and things like that on it.
Yeah.
So I have stuff that students have given me that
Right.
are just kind of randomly in the class. But so when I first started teaching, I mean, remember I graduated in 1999. So
That's not that long ago. It doesn't feel that long ago.
so I used to collect dreamsicles.
Oh yes.
So that's an old
I
thing.
have the little dreamsicle cheerleader.
Yeah, yes.
Still.
So I've gotten rid
Things
of
are
all the ones that I used to have, but I have. So when I graduated from Lamar, my mom and some other people gave me some. I have a graduating one and I have some teaching ones.
Aww.
So those are on my shelf.
Yeah.
So I would say maybe something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have collectibles and little things in my class, but I mean other things kind of just come and go.
Yeah.
But there's a few things that I've had
The
all these years.
mainstays.
Yeah.
I love that.
Even through the 8 years that I stayed home, I still
You
brought
still
those
have
back.
them. Yeah.
So-
That's right. That is good. What about you, Tanya?
I don't think I have a random object, but I do have some things I pull out that are seasonal that
Yes.
that they have given me for Christmas, like the little ornaments they've made, and it helps me to remember the good times that we had. And the student actually liked me back then. Like you can remember back.
Oh, but if you saw those same students here at the high school and they recognized you, they would love it. I'm just telling you.
It just happened when I was downstairs.
Okay, I was gonna say, we record this at the high school in our CTE building, and so every time we bring people in here, and me, whenever I get to come on this campus, it's like
Celebrity.
it really is just like a little pep rally. I'm like, oh, let's call everybody. Let's hug. You know, hey Miss Hogg, hey Miss Hogg, hey Miss Hogg, and they'll be like, why are you here? You know, like what are you doing? and you sometimes can't remember their names, and I know for y'all it's even worse because
They change
it was even longer,
so much,
and they do.
Yes.
But you can still remember the face, and you remember. You're like, dang,
I know you.
Yeah.
but they remember you, and that means a lot, you know. And the fact that they tell you hi, and sometimes it's like the shy kids back then that would never say a word, and when you say good morning to them back then, they'd be like, you know, they wouldn't even like say anything, and now they're like, hey, how are you? And I'm like, oh. So great. I mean, I love that. Yeah. So, what about you, Tammy?
So I don't have one particular thing either, but I have a shelf with all kinds of things that students have given me: a painted butterfly, a little Alamo, a turtle, just things that just reminds me of those students.
Yes, I love that. So I'm sure y'all get lots of artwork too, don't you?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And I didn't get it as much being a secondary teacher, but I did, and it's hard to like part with that. It's like when it's your own kids' artwork that they bring home from like church or whatever, and you're like, okay, well this is the 8th time we've colored Noah's Ark, but dang, I can't get rid of it. My mom would always be like, just take a picture of it, you know, or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay, next question. What's your Sonic or Starbucks drink order? You can tell me both if you want to. What you got?
At Sonic, I usually get Diet Dr. Pepper,
Whatever
whatever has caffeine.
Yes.
And if I ever go to Starbucks, it's always white chocolate mocha.
Me too. Yes, yeah.
Either ice or hot, either one.
Which one? Either's fine.
Whatever the weather is.
Yep.
I had sweet tea with mango.
Oh, I
really
like
good.
that. Okay, that sounds refreshing.
I get a real Dr. Pepper with vanilla at Sonic, and then I get the vanilla bean coffee at Starbucks.
Oh,
Sounds good.
You're a vanilla person.
I'm a vanilla person.
I love that. Do you like vanilla smells too?
Yes,
Okay.
love it. My house is vanilla or warm apple only.
Oh, both of those are so nice
All
and
other candles
comforting.
get regifted.
or exchanged.
Yes.
For vanilla and warm apple.
Yes.
I do love that. Okay, go ahead.
I'm a sweet tea drinker.
Oh, yes.
I do love
Okay.
sweet tea too.
I love
I like
Sonic
sweet
and
tea.
I love Chicken Express.
Oh, girl, that's like syrup.
Yes.
Yes, I do too.
I gotta get half and half there. That is some sweet tea. Okay, let's talk about reading. Janice, I know you love reading, but
So I do. I haven't since the Passel, so you're
recovering
I am
still.
taking a hiatus right now and watching TV. But I will get back to it. But yes, I'm a huge Colleen Hoover fan. So
Okay.
all these movies that are coming out, I've read all those books.
Yeah.
And I'm all about it.
That's good.
But I will get back in my summer reading.
Soon, yes.
Details.
Yes. Love it. What about the rest of you guys?
We're part of a book club.
Oh, that's fun.
And so we're reading Theo of Golden.
I finished it last weekend.
Oh,
and
look at you, overachiever.
It's really good. I want to come. And then I have Remarkably Bright Creatures loaded to read next.
Oh, do you
So-
do audiobook or do you just do it on a Kindle?
I read it on the Kindle.
Okay, that's awesome. What about you, Courtney?
So I do have, since this is my first year in MTSS, I had bought a book. It's Effective Math Intervention book. That I'm
It
looking
sounds
at.
very exciting.
It's very exciting. It's an ebook that I have, but I'm not a big reader. But I love mystery and thriller, so I know there's a lot of friends that have posted many books about that they love.
So you're starting to make a list?
Yeah, I was like, maybe I would like that. So,
Yeah. I feel like I want to get back into reading since I had to read for classes and other things. I got burned out for a while and I hated that. But this year my goal has been a book a month. And so I read 3 books already, so I'm about to start my 4th one, so I'm on track, guys.
That's good.
Yes. All right, next question is do you have a favorite motivational quote that you like to share with people or students? One that means a lot to you?
I don't have a specific quote that I say to the kids, but I do try to motivate them and try to form some relationships with them to make them feel better about themselves.
I think that's key with what y'all do.
Mm-hmm.
Is really
So.
helping them to see what worth they have and value that they
It's
have
just,
to bring.
they need to be constantly motivated. Their self-esteems are just so low, and they need to be built up.
But you know, I love at the primary school, I was there this morning, and I mean, this affirmation video gets me so excited every time. I'm like, yes, I do it. I'm like, I'm in control. What is it? I'm in control of myself. And it's like driving the car, you know, and then, I mean, it's great. I always leave there and I'm like, it's in my head and I can hear it. But I think that's so key, especially at this young age, that they need to have that foundation of those affirmations. And so I think our teachers do a great job of that, and y'all are doing a great job of that too. But for kids that struggle with learning, it's even more vital. So, yeah. What about you, Tammy?
Mine is go forth and do good.
Oh, yeah.
And it actually came from when I worked at Catholic Charities. Before I became program director, there was a lady before me, and that was her quote. And I just really liked it, and it stayed with me.
Okay. Yep. Awesome. Janice?
So for my kiddos, I tell them when I introduce them to my classroom, which changes throughout the year as the kids come and go, but I tell them we're rock stars in here, and this is a very special classroom where they get to show off. So when they walk in, I greet them and I'm like, good morning, rock star. And so in the hallway, we're like a little rock star family. Because a lot of the other kids are like, why can't I go? You know, and I'm like, oh, maybe you'll be a rock star. You know, so we just kind of have a little rock star theme that we do in my room because I'm the crayon room. So it's bright and you know, we're all.
I love that. I love that. What about you, Courtney?
I like the quote, believe you can and you're halfway there.
Yep.
So a lot of the students do not believe in themselves, and they're always saying, I can't. So I always like
Once they can do that, then
yeah, you can do it.
That's awesome. Your little rock star classroom makes me think about whenever I was teaching math, and a lot of kids struggle with math, and I taught Charlie, and I would always be like, hello, little algebra angels, and they'd be like, you know, 8th grade, but they like, you know, they know that they hear what you're saying, you know, like, little algebra angels, how are y'all today? And they're like, we're good. But I just love it. It wasn't quite the reaction you get with your kindergarten.
I'm sure, probably not, but still fun. The cheesier you are, they'll adapt.
That's right. That's right. No, they love cheesy. They won't admit it, but they do love it.
Absolutely. Skill works all the way up till 12th grade.
I know. Even adults like cheesy.
I know.
All right. So hobbies. Yeah, you guys have any time for that? But if you with kids and other things going on, but what else do you like to do outside of school?
I read a lot.
Yeah, I can tell.
My kids are grown, and my husband works night shift.
Okay.
And so a lot of times I read
Yep.
a lot. And I plant flowers outside.
Oh,
so
yes. I have a brown thumb, so
Yeah, same.
you know, I just stick with succulents, and sometimes even those don't make it. Yeah. What about you, Tammy?
For me, reading, I also craft with my Cricut, and then cake decorating. I like to do that.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome.
I'm a college baseball mom, so I spend a lot of time at the ballparks.
Yes.
And especially right now in baseball season.
Yep.
But we love to have crawfish boils and hang by the pool any chance we can to be with our boys.
Outside
Just
and,
the family of 5. We love it. But you know.
There's not a lot. Sometimes that's few and far between.
Very, since I've got one in college away.
Which has been a transition this year.
Big time.
Yeah.
it's hard.
It is.
Mom's about to graduate in May.
I'm launching another one. Me too.
Yeah. Well.
Yep.
All right, Courtney. What about you?
I'm just spending time with family and friends. We have a pool. I love laying out by the pool. I love going to the beach, vacations.
Y'all like cruises?
Yes, we love cruises. We already have one planned.
Oh, good.
For June.
Yeah. Awesome.
So, yeah. We also have a new dog, Lottie.
Oh.
She's
What kind of dog is it?
Golden Doodle.
Oh, yay.
She's been keeping us busy, too.
Yeah.
Just a fun fact. Courtney's daughter and my son are high school sweethearts. Going on 3 whole years.
3 years already?
It is.
That's funny. That's cool. You have that connection too. Awesome.
You need to share your fun fact.
Oh, you have a fun fact?
About
Yeah. I'm like related
nephew.
to
I know, we're all related.
Oh.
Yeah.
My daughter, Madeline, is engaged to Courtney's
nephew.
Dylan.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Wow.
They're going to get married. And then we're all going to be, all of us will be just be one big family.
Tammy, how are we going to fit you in?
We're
here?
just-
She has another daughter, and I have a son.
Oh, okay. I was going to
She's trying
say,
to
maybe you could just get puppies from the same litter or something.
She wants Abby to be her daughter.
Okay, that's cool.
I just have to convince Abby.
But she's off in San Marcos, so.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. We can have a little love connection here to start out. It started here. I mean, that's funny. That's awesome. Love that. It's small world, really it is. Okay, we're gonna jump back into some questions here about what you guys do on the daily for our kiddos. All right, so what we love to see and what motivates you guys, I know, is the success stories. So tell us a little bit, if you can, about a student who benefited from MTSS interventions and what that looked like for that student.
I'm just going to say that there are so many success stories. We see that every single day, just little small gains, and and some you don't see it until you compare the beginning to the end sometimes. But every single day we see success.
Yeah.
Whether it's learning a new sound or a new letter or learning how to spell their name, we see something new every day.
And that's you probably even see it more than when you did it in the classroom, because those light bulb moments that you would see when you had your own students that you taught all day long. And here you're seeing different students, so many different students all day long. But to see them really get those light bulb moments is really impactful. So
in a smaller setting, so they're more noticeable.
Oh, that's
really
true.
See them.
Yes.
When you have 6 kids and one, starts having a conversation truly on topic for the first time. So not all of it is measurable by paper goals, or trackable things. It's like, and I'm running to the teacher saying, they just talked about the character in the story and it was all right, so at our level, because there are 5, some 4 now that start kindergarten. A lot of our RTI in the beginning is just those basic foundational skills. Talking, getting comfortable with school, introductions to procedures, routines, all of that. So when we see that they can walk into my classroom and I can be standing in the hallway and they're doing all the things, that's growth. So it's just, RTI is a super special place, because you see all the things, and sometimes it's big gains that aren't trackable through our progress monitors and that sort of thing.
Right.
Other things.
Yeah. And
Confidence. I will live by that. That is so.
It's true. Okay, so we've already talked about measuring the effectiveness of the interventions a lot. Just then you were talking about confidence and seeing those gains that they made. What are some resources or strategies that you think are most impactful for helping students overcome those challenges?
So we have students that have individualized lesson plans, and we go off their scores from their benchmark testing. And we also do testing inside of our MTS classroom that we can use to put them on individualized lessons. These lessons are tailored to meet individual student needs, and we also provide positive reinforcement that boosts self-esteem and motivation in our class, and that gets them to want to do the activities with us each day and want to do good to get that.
Yeah, that's awesome. So it might be for a prize or points or
whatever.
We
do little sticker charts.
Okay.
They have to earn.
Love a good sticker chart.
Yeah,
Still works.
Adults love those too. We used to do them at the middle school for T-tests. Yeah, that was a very big motivator.
Visual. It's a visual.
Yes, that's right. And not with people's scores, but for the administrators and who had done all their evaluations, and I won. I just want to say that, and Amanda Jenkins can attest to it. But we had a sticker chart.
They do have the stickers.
We all had our own colors, and they were right by the chart. And so when we finished that teacher's evaluation and we had the post-conference with them, we would go and put a sticker by it, and whoever finished theirs first won. We didn't win anything, but and I did, and they were like, "Dang it! How
you
did
won
you
that
win?"
title. See,
That's right.
It just makes you happy.
Yes, that's right.
That competitive drive came out.
That's right. Yes. Okay. So MTSS, you talked a little bit about this, but it's not just for academic, but social and emotional behavioral growth. What does that look like on y'all's campuses?
Okay, so one of the things is the stronger they get academically, the more confident they become. So that's one thing that we look at. But also, we have the counselor that works with the students. There's still a tier system for behavior. We have redirection that works with the students weekly also.
Yeah. And y'all kind of work hand in hand with those programs.
Yes.
I was just talking to somebody the other day, and we were actually talking about their child is in MTSS now, and she was telling me, I didn't even know what that program was, but I think it's so great. She said, my husband, when we were talking about it, when their kid was being placed in MTSS, I think tier 2, he said, wow, I would have been a lot better at school if we would have had this program, because he said, and when he got older, he realized the reason he was so quote unquote bad behavior problem and elementary was because he didn't understand a lot of things and he had some learning gaps, and he was acting out because he didn't want to draw attention to that, and that happens so often.
Very often.
And so whenever we're able to target the gaps that they have and close those gaps, that confidence builds up, and you will see less of those behaviors. That's the goal, right?
That is the
Right.
best.
And so our weekly meetings that we have, the counselor comes to those meetings as well.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so what advice would you give to teachers or maybe parents, and they want to better understand or support MTSS in our schools? Maybe they have questions about how they can, maybe their kid, this program would benefit their kiddo.
I think it's important for them to keep in touch with their child's teachers
Okay.
and have communication back and forth, you know, so that they'll know the child's strengths and weaknesses. Some parents don't really know what they're doing in class or what they need to be doing in class. They don't have anyone to compare their child to. And I think those constant conversations between parents and teachers is what they need.
Okay, yeah, no, I think so too. And that teacher, like we said earlier, after the parent, is the biggest advocate for that child, especially in the academic setting. So, and that is important. And I know just from my experience as a mom, I love to talk to my kids' teachers because, like you just said, you don't know what they're like with other students in an academic setting, like their age. You don't know how they're acting because you see them at home. Sometimes they don't get along with their siblings, and you're like, oh gosh, I hope they're not like this at school, or whatever it may be. But some teachers see things in kiddos that parents don't, and it's not because they're not a good parent. It's just when they measure up to other students, and in a different setting, we work together. Truly, it's a team effort. So, well, I wanted to tell you guys thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules and tell you thank you for being here, but also to affirm and appreciate what you do on a daily basis for all the things that you just mentioned, and what that does to lay a great foundation in the early years for students to build upon. And I know every year there's kids that are probably exited out of your programs, and those kids are moving forward and not looking back, you know, at struggles they may have once had, and even the kids that are still in MTSS, that foundation that you guys are laying is super, super vital, and I just want to say thank you for what you do. So it's very important. It is super important every day, and we didn't even talk about all the things that you guys do outside of MTSS in your school, whether that's covering a classroom when at the drop of a hat when a teacher has to leave for an emergency reason and there's not a sub there yet, or you know, covering a lunch duty or whatever that may be. I know that's not normally something that is part of your job, but you guys are so helpful in filling in the need and supporting the campus. So I just want to say thanks for that, because I saw that as an administrator, and you are super valuable. So anyways, well, that's it for today's episode of Raider Reach, and that we hope that everybody enjoyed hearing the stories that these ladies shared. These are stories that make our district and community so special. And remember, this is all about making an impact in our MTSS classrooms, our schools, and in the world. You can find us on all podcast platforms, so be sure to subscribe, share this episode with others in our community, and join us next time as we continue to reach out and share more Raider stories. But until then, let's stay connected, let's stay inspired, and let's keep making an impact. Bye!
Bye.